you can turn around and say he is as solid as a rock. And then, of course, you can think back of solid defenders and many more. I'm sure if we get to search, we'll find many defenders that were called.
Klappo was recently redeployed in the midfield. So not all too unfamiliar for him at the moment. Perhaps just in recent years, maybe lost a yard of pace necessary to still effectively perform as a fullback. Masangani can't play it through. Manaka with an errant pass. Now Dion Otto spinning away on the attentions of Mube.
That's why having Hoto on the left wide position will provide Mahopa this moment. This time maybe it's first any form of a press to win the second ball. That is something that maybe they can improve on. But to play against a lot of players and give them that kind of space, you don't want to commit too many forward. That's why they're looking for that rest defense. Should it happen that they lose ball possession.
Nicely done by Van Rooyen, and then in quarter into Masangani. Dlamini finishes it off. What a beautiful team goal from Orlando Pirates. Oh, superbly worked. And Dlamini adding to his all-time Nedbank Cup tally with a 6th in the tournament.
I know superbly is a great word to use, but I think you need a bigger and better word to describe that move. How swiftly it was done. But the two number 10s combining in that box, their abilities to arrive into that box and create this kind of havoc. Kabelo, Masangani, for me, that's why they've been placed, so that they can apply that kind of pressure and entries. And this one was just unbelievable. No chance for a Ruby. Swiftly done.
Well, Orlando Pirates become the first side to breach the Gallants defense in the Nedbank Cup this season. And it's required a little bit of magic, some mastery engineered by the Spanish guitar. And now Gallants have to chase the game. They have a big opportunity here, could capitalize on the mistake. Sindami down, Sekamaka will come away with it.
Yeah, Buthelezi made that shot, that pass very short. Nearly brought himself a little pressure unnecessarily.
So it looks a little desperate from Marco, certainly clumsy, which would be an apt word to describe. Mabucha. Sindami. Only been 2 players this season who've had more touches in the opposition area in the Nedbank Cup than Daniel Sindami. Arthur Salles of Mamelodi Sundowns and Pule Mori of Kaizer Chiefs, both who will be hoping for a starting position later today. Second semi-final coming to you from Loftus at 6 p.m.
The general of that middle of the park is Makola. He's the one that basically links up just about everything around from the defense into the middle. Should there be a problem with the move going forward, he's there to pick up the pieces once again and restart the movement. Very key player.
Who is playing in his 3rd successive semi-final. He played the previous 2 for Orlando Pirates. Those are not the only semi-finals he's been to. Makaula went to the last 4 with Free State Stars back in 2016, but it was a game that they lost 4-2 against Orlando Pirates. Oh, lovely from Bokazi, who has, amongst many attributes, perhaps chief among them, unbelievable ability to win the ball. timing on his tackles is spectacular. Nicely cut out by Dion Houghton. Kota steered through here for Evidence Makgopa. Scored in the previous rounds, quarter-final against SuperSport United, having not netted prior to that in 11 Nedbank Cup games since his very first Nedbank Cup game for Baraka back in 2020. So just 2 Nedbank Cup goals for Evidence Makgopa across 13 previous appearances in this competition.
It's one of those that does so much work. Sometimes you think he's not doing enough, but you know, he's applying pressure to the defenders and not sometimes winning everything, but just the pressure that he creates means that the clearance that the defenders are going to apply is not going to go too far because of the pressure, but he's just harassing and applying the high press, but providing an outlet as well if the midfielders are under also
directly, you know. Ping the ball forward.
Wow. I concur. Man, he's solid. Oh, you can turn around and say he is as solid as a rock. And then, of course, you can think back of so many defenders that were called rock and all that. Our players came in, phone, cuts it back, Cabello at hand. Where is Makgopa? He has been involved as a wide player on the right-hand side. I think that's where we've seen a whole lot of him. Oh, that is class from Houghton. Beautifully done. Oh, man, I want to see that more and more, eh? And you got the safety of the 1-0 lead, and that's what you want to take into the second half. Yes, the temptation is to be able to play it forward because there might just be an opportunity for a chance to score. But at the same time, the other possibility is that Marumo Gallants can win the ball and attack you.
And Tajela keeping it alive. Squeeze it through nicely here for Mabocha. Edge of the area, Manaka. Buthelezi hangs on to it.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. We're talking about being able to manage the game in as far as keeping ball possession. These are the type of opportunities that you don't want to offer as a possibility to the opposition. That's well Buthelezi holds 3 in that middle. It was the 2 sitting 6 defensive midfielders. So that changed now. Manaka is sitting back as the 1-6, which has allowed Tajela and Sithole to be a bit more offensive, which is why the action for Gallants is a little bit higher than it was.
Dlamini in. Mahlatsi is lurking. Arriving is Sithole, but he steered it straight at Buthelezi.
We didn't see much of that in that first half. Explaining my point, with a little bit more advanced play from Gallants is because of those changes in that middle.
Well, it's now a second shot that they've got on target, but neither have been of very much consequence. Made for very routines. Well, this crowd can be intimidating, but Marumo Gallants.
Makgopa thought to himself, the goalkeeper is probably blinded from where he takes the shot. And the goalkeeper, can he play to the left or right? And when you got this approach from Gallants.
Given away cheaply. Here's Dion Houghton. Maswangani slightly behind Evidence Makgopa, who then leaves it for Mufokeng. Ndlondlo. Urge to pull the trigger, gets a deflection from behind for a corner.
More of this type of moments, then Alon Pirates is looking good. a mistake here by the defender, Sevilla. And obviously with Hoto playing as an inverted this time. Oh, man, Mahopa going a little bit too ahead of the action.
Yeah. Philippine Gonlo pulling the trigger. He hasn't scored in his last 11 Nedbank Cup games. The last time he actually scored in the Nedbank Cup. It seems like Gallants have lost a lot of their shape now as they chase the game. Mufokeng, still he goes on. Nedbank Cup hero in the final against Mamelodi Sundowns last season, Mufokeng.
It's brought a little bit of fire. Those dirty runs going forward has gotten the crowd going, and that's what Pirates need. I still maintain that Gallants made substitutions in as far as improving the attack. I think, yes, Pirates have had their moments as well, but Gallants maybe have taken this game away from Pirates. If you think about moments that they're creating in their attack as well, big difference from what it was in the second half. But that means as well that they'll play a high line, and opportunity for Pirates maybe to spring an attack from such a situation, which
this is such an opportunity. Dion Hotter stabs it towards Mabasa, but not accurate enough with that pass.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dion Hotter doesn't cut it back. He just hits it across, which was easy for the defenders to make the block. But I'm not too sure just how much from the cut back there wouldn't have been enough black shirts arriving in the box.
He has 9 games, Nedbank Cup games in open play, though, as Buthelezi eats into as many seconds.
He's got to be careful, though. He picks up that ball standing and then he goes down. It's a clear indication that he wants to wind the clock down a bit.
Here's Mufokeng. Maswangani spreads it for Hoto. Dion Hotter goes for it. Washington Arubi makes the save. Ube gets it clear.
Great defensive work to protect the goalkeeper. On the front foot, and understandably so. If you got Dion Junior that is up front, that means now you've got Zobu as well, who's just been brought in. More offensive.
His helmet is run perfectly once again. Mufokeng! And Washington Arubi with another massive intervention. Toto again. Pirates desperate to wrap it up. Maswangani. Can't get on the end of that one.
As I often say, maybe a little bit of muscle about him is going to help change his game to the next level. Good goalkeeping here with Arubi coming very quick. He made himself big in front of Mufokeng. Easy pick up for Buthelezi. End-to-end stuff it has become now. Desperation creeping in on both sides with only a few minutes remaining.
His 18th Nedbank Cup appearance.
Great effort here. Ping's a good one. Babasa misses it, but Mufokeng, as he normally does, anticipates on the far side. Maybe his first touch lets him down, but you got to give it to the keeper, who anticipated well to come out of his line. Another great moment by Hoto again, who didn't have too many options as far as players in the box, but again, Arubi says every game that they play.
In a week's time, they host Pyramids FC. And unfortunately, that's it. Alfred Jabani puts his whistle to his lips, and Orlando Pirates are through to a third successive Nedbank Cup showpiece, an opportunity to defend their crown. It's the 6th domestic final that Jose Rivero has led the Buccaneers to.